Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. Welcome, guys. Happy April, but not just April. Happy second quarter of the year. I know it's kind of like hard to fathom when I thought about it this morning. Like, holy crap! It is already April. We're 3 months into the year. We're gonna have, nevertheless, a great show for you all. We're going to break down our thoughts on Q2, kind of some things that we're expecting, both on a lower time frame and high time frame. Obviously, we're seeing a little bit of a move higher here this morning. We will discuss how sustainable we think that is. And I think it's going to be a great show today, right? It's always kind of a great show when the coins are literally pumping into into the show. But I'm Tommy. You guys also know me as Snorlax. I'm joined by Moisturized Jackus today, and of course, Louis Tuesday. We will soon be joined by Max as well, I think, later on the show. So yeah, we've got a great panel for you all today. Before we can get started, there are no excuses today. We have a very green market. You know, whether you're in meme coins, whether you're in Bitcoin and ETH, whether you're in pretty much anything, markets are pumping today. No excuses not to hit the like button, guys. I do not want to have to pull up the soybeans chart on a day like today. But as always, guys, we appreciate your support on this show. We're going to continue to pump out content. And of course, let's cook. Like I said, it is the first day of a new quarter, which, you know, now that I'm saying it once again, it's still just kind of surreal how quickly time can fly in markets. And I feel like this year is very indicative of that. With that said, though, I mean, obviously Q1 was very red across the board, especially for crypto, especially for altcoins. Are we seeing a bit of the pendulum maybe swing back the other way? Like I said, I mean, ETH is up 5% today. Bitcoin is up 3%. Could we be about to put the squeeze on shorts? I mean, we've been talking for a while about how we are overdue for a counter trend rally. And I think, you know, continually we have seen a few altcoins, a few assets really just kind of show us that, you know, it might not be necessarily go time immediately, but at the very least, you know, we're prospecting some bounces. Like I said, some strength in things like Sonic, Fartcoin. I know how ridiculous it is, and every time I have to say it, I just kind of cringe and laugh to myself at the same time. But we're talking about like risk on barometers, right? And beta can often lead majors. Specifically, you know, altcoins can lead Bitcoin and ETH from a price action standpoint. So could we be seeing that right now? I guess we'll have to see. We've also been saying a lot of the bounce is going to be reliant on when equities can find their low. And whether equities, you know, kind of just chop sideways for a while, whether they are putting in bounces of complacency, will continue to be a debate on this show, I think. But in the meantime, I think that the risk is increasingly shifting to the upside with each passing day. That, I think, really sets the stage for the second quarter. I'm expecting a lot of volatility this quarter, guys. I think there's going to be a ton of opportunity for traders and probably savvy investors. I mean, I don't really quite have the same long-term bias as a few other people, but obviously, you know, it's very path dependent and things can always change. But right now, one thing is clear. We are pumping to start the quarter. I mean, Bitcoin and ETH putting in some pretty strong candles on the first day of the month, first day of the second quarter. Let's talk about it, though. I don't want to ramble for too long. What are we seeing today, guys? Do we have any expectations here on a lower time frame? And of course, I mean, we should probably talk about some Q2 expectations as well.
Is it April Fool's Day pump?
Can you imagine?
Oh, we just fooled you. And there April is Max.
April Fools. Good morning, boys.
Good morning.
Morning.
We just wanted to start with the good vibes.
I'm sad I missed it. Did I bring the bad vibes?
No, definitely not.
I show up and you're like, we wanted to start with good vibes. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry.
No, just in case you're wondering what's going on, because you join and we are laughing all around.
Well, I'm glad everybody's having a good time.
See, the chat's active and happy today, so that's good. It's always good to see.
I wonder if it has to do with price.
Market is green. Yeah.
My shirt is green. I broke out the green shirt today. I summoned the candles.
It feels nice to be done with Q1. I was telling you guys that this morning, but Q2 is here, baby. Q2 is here.
We were so looking forward to Q1, and it just absolutely threw us for a loop, did it not?
It may have done that.
I ain't gonna lie, they had us in the first quarter.
That's a good one.
He said in the first half, though, so I hope that it's the quarter, man.
I ain't gonna lie.
I ain't
It's
gonna
all right.
lie.
Well, believe it or not, markets do go both directions. I know it hasn't felt like it, but yeah, we're long overdue for this. So it's great to see we're finally getting some nice pushes off the lows here.
Louis, don't you know that markets just go down only forever? We'll never see a green candle ever again.
Yeah. If you
That's
look up
hard
Twitter,
to-
that's
Yeah.
you would think.
At least that's what the timeline tells me these days. You can't even like try to play a bounce without people telling you that you're being too bullish anymore, which I think is,
I
kind
like it.
of in itself.
someone-
Yeah, I know.
someone-
You have to like that sentiment.
Someone
Dude,
was calling me
people-
brokey this morning. Like
People
they're
are
like, brokey,
literally
how are your
like-
tokens doing, brokey?
Dude, I've had to block so many people recently. Like, it's okay. So, like, I post something last night. Some guy is like, what did he say? He was like, oh, like rumors circulating that like we're gonna get basically like a stimmy check in the US from like all the savings, like from the Doge efforts and stuff like that, or tax savings. And I just I quoted it and it was like, yeah, like this is what we've been talking about, how there's something missing here where they're doing all this stuff to save money, like slashing the budget, cutting waste. And now we're going to be generating, all this additional, tariff revenue, presumably, that should flow through to US citizens, right? And be bullish. And like, dude, I swear I blocked 5 people. They comment, you're so unbelievably misinformed. I can't believe like blah, 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 just like freaking out. And I'm like, I didn't expect to wake up to hate on that post. I felt like that was a pretty just like neutral idea. People are so angry right now, man. Like you can't do anything without literally just getting berated, right? People are just vicious right now for no reason.
Well, the world is so divided, and it's really like you're either with us or you're against us. I think that sit way looking at the world is dominating it right now.
I was
And if
thinking
you,
about that.
yeah, if you try to be somewhere in the middle and speak logic and stuff like that, you are undoubtedly getting attacked by you're getting attacked by both sides, basically.
If
Yep.
you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
Yeah.
Dude, that's really how it feels sometimes, And I
I
don't
feel like-
understand. Sorry, go ahead,
No,
Tommy.
keep going, Max. I was
No,
just
no,
gonna
no,
say
I had nothing important to say. Please, you take over.
I feel like there are two like very dangerous rhetorics that have been like become a bit entrenched to enter this quarter. The first one being we're never going to bounce again, right? Like you're foolish for being bullish, and you can just see people kind of continuously call for another leg down after another leg down after another leg down. And then I think the other rhetoric that seems to be like very entrenched is just the absolute certainty that people speak with that it can't be a recession, right? It could be, we have no idea, but it's just like people speaking with so much certainty after one quarter of the year is just kind of crazy to me.
Just to be fair, I know people are not going to like this. I still think we go lower first on ETH, but again, I will keep repeating this. I think we are at the bottoming process here. And as you said, Tommy, it took 4 months to absolutely shift the sentiment. And I think this sentiment will last for a while now. Because like it broke people's spirit, and now they won't be able to accept the other side, basically. Like everything is bound to be a rally to fail from here forward.
this rally will fail like all the others.
That's
Yeah, it goes back to this quote that I really like from this book. It's called The Most Important Thing by Howard Marks. It's a great investing book. Highly recommend it. But I tweeted this back in February. I wanted to pull it up so I don't mess up the quote. It goes, investors will overvalue assets when they're doing well and undervalue assets when they're getting difficult. And yet every decade or so, people decide cyclicality is over. They think either the good times roll on without end or the negative trends cannot be stopped. And it's been very clear to me that we're in that type of part of this period of time where people think that the negative price action just won't stop because it's been continuous, right? And yeah, it's just been, everyone's just been way off sides. The sentiment has been highly skewed to one side, which has been bearish for months now. And markets go up and they go down, right? So we're gonna probably go back up now.
Is that financial advice?
He was like,
I'll send the bill to your address, Louis,
Yeah.
if I get liquidated.
That's
No,
good advice, though, Louis. I'm just joking with you.
well, guys, technically, ETH has been in a downtrend since March 2024. That's nearly a year now, if we disregard November of last year. So again, I think the sentiment is at the extreme, and as I've been saying, at these levels, the risk is definitely turning to the upside. Again, speaking hard time frame, right? I think like locally, again, I think we hit still new low, but
Wow,
this
he just keeps calling for lower lows. We'll never rally again. Wow.
we will rally again. This is the time. I had an absolutely amazing thread that I've already mentioned a few times. I'm not sure if you guys remember it. And the funny or interesting part about it is that I wrote this one in 2022, if you know which one I'm referring to. Let me read just the first 4 slides or 5 slides from it, because I believe it speaks thousands of words, and I think we are at literally the same time. So here it goes. My biggest mistake in the past cycles was that I was waiting for lower prices, just as I was advised to. When the bull returns, it comes out of nowhere, and you tend to get caught up in all the bearishness that you miss it completely. You tend to not trust the next up move because all the past ones have failed, and the price is too high now anyway that you'll be waiting for the pullback that doesn't come. Eventually, the feel of FOMO gets to you, but it's too late. Looking back, it's all obvious, but in the real time, it's not. We can always say how it was in the hindsight. Experience and past examples teach us that people buying the breakdown of the quote-unquote unbreakable 6K support were the real winners. Experience and past examples teach us that people buying the breakdown of the $300 level after the Mt. Gox fiasco, when all the hope was lost and Bitcoin was proclaimed dead, were the real winners. In hindsight, it's always obvious, but in real time, back then, it meant that you bought and you were underwater for several months, many percent. It means buying the red candles and sticking to the plan, and with all the possible worst news you could imagine, just as now. And this is what I wrote in 2022 bottoming process. And I feel the absolutely same thread applies to the current ETH price down here. That I still, because we are here every single day, I still obviously think locally we hit new lows. But from a higher time frame perspective, this is the capitulation I've been talking about for the past 2 months. I think we have arrived.
We have finally arrived. So deep value.
Deep value.
It will be pretty
Yeah.
crazy to see if we get some version of that Amazon fractal that we've been watching for like a year now. It feels like, because this is that area it should happen out of.
This
Truthfully.
is the area. Yes. This is the hard time frame area. This is where you want to be bidding for years to come. And obviously,
Yeah.
I know, guys, some of you were bidding, like myself. I would also want to add, I was bidding myself for this big rally that I'm anticipating in the past 2 years, and I've many times resold and then rebought again. But I still, will keep my eyes on the forest with this outcome, the bigger play.
Yeah, I would have to agree, and like people get so angry. It's like, how could you remain bullish? Like how could you not sell and look to buy lower? Well, I've been in crypto almost every day for 8-9 years now, and in my experience, like holding through these drawdowns, although sure, there's some opportunity cost, and you should always take profits along the way, keep dry powder on the side when you do get these larger pullbacks. But in my experience, like you said, when the bull comes back, it comes back out of nowhere. It happens super fast. Altcoins can literally,
When the
like,
bull
literally
begins his run.
Yeah, like altcoins can literally erase weeks and months worth of downtrend in literally a couple of days. Like, I'm not even kidding, right? So in my experience, for the average person to try to trade or time the market, getting out, getting back in, like when you flip sentiment, it's very difficult for you to flip back, right? Like if you're flipping bearish and you're selling everything, you're angry, fuck it, it's not going to happen from here. We must go lower now because it hasn't happened yet. And then when that market reverses, man, in crypto specifically, like it happens quick. It doesn't really give much shot at entries back inside. And even if it does, you're not going to trust the rally because you've already flipped sentiment in your head and people miss it, right? And then eventually when prices continue to go up and up and up, you end up having to FOMO back in. And then you get your pullback and then you're chopping yourself up in an overall bullish environment. So again, in my experience, holding through these drawdowns, adding to your conviction bags, and just kind of, riding the down wave is not a bad strategy. Doing nothing is not a bad strategy, in my opinion, right? And that's kind of how I've always navigated these markets, and I've always come out the other side okay, right? So if you're doing this every day, right, and you do this for a living and you could time it, go for it, right? There's a lot of people that did it. Tommy did it. Jackus did it. They did extremely well, right? But for your average investor that works a full-time job and can't watch these markets every day, it's going to be very difficult for you to flip back and forth and get back in at the right time. So holding and doing nothing and waiting for markets to flip back the other way and adding to stuff when you get these big pullbacks is a great strategy as well. But people get angry when you do that until it's obvious in hindsight, so. Yeah.
Not all at once, guys.
Well, no, I was just waiting. I was like, I can jump in, but I can't tell if you guys are looking because I'm looking at. I can't see Tommy, and Jackus is the hot tub guy. So I don't want to, I don't want to like, yap over everybody because I can't tell if you're about to speak. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty bullish in Q1. I'd love to take a look at some charts today. I was doing a bunch of charts yesterday, so maybe somebody else can share theirs today, so we can get a diverse mix of visuals.
Yeah.
Meat Stick, is it you?
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying that it's not enough for the audience to look at our beautiful faces? Well, two faces and two logos.
Your face is more beautiful than ours, Jack. It's that guy, peak beauty. That looks bullish. Oh no, I don't like that guy, man. He's so creepy.
The Eurovision person.
He's so creepy.
That's Jackus. Yeah. So here's Bitcoin on the daily, guys. You know, and we've been talking about this downtrend, right? Talked about it a lot last week because we were coming up into it last week, right? We were testing this downtrend. This downtrend has had us capped since we made, you know, the inauguration sweep of the highs, right? It's been capping price for, you know, two months, right? Two months, 2.5 months. And we were here last week, right? You know, hopeful for a breakout, but we also recognize we were at resistance. And when it comes to bottoms and stuff like that, like, you know, if this wasn't going to be a V-shaped recovery, you know, these bottoms, you know, you see a lot of up, a lot of down, a lot of up, a lot of down, right? If I had to compare this, you know, it kind of feel like we're here, right? Where you had a prominent downtrend, you had a nice rally off the lows, but you were stuffed, right? You were stuffed, but you gathered strength, you went for the breakout, and you continued to climb to the upside until finally we ran out of supply. Sellers ran out of tokens that didn't trust this rally. And then you really start to, you know, you start to fly. So if I had to compare where we are now here to anything else, you know, locally on this chart, it's probably, you know, here, right? We had our initial rally off the lows. We got stuffed at our downtrend resistance. We pulled back. We're creating a higher low on the daily. And, you know, I think we have a great shot at, once again, going for this downtrend. And this downtrend is going to break, right? And the more times we test it, the more likely it's going to break, right? Like if you want to invert this, like what, like bears were looking at this chart, they'd be looking for, you know, like, oh, you know, I'm short, right? I'm short, downtrend, right? So, I mean, this looks really promising, right? This looks really good. We're due for this. And if you want to get a little more granular here on the lower time frame, this is kind of how I'm looking at it.
Always invert the chart to check your bias.
Yeah, powerful too.
You know, pretty much. And I told the Discord this yesterday. Very simply, back above 84K, which is reclaiming, you know, this level, right? These local lows, and we establish price above 84K, we have a great shot at going for this downtrend once again. And after multiple tests last week and failing, we got the bigger sell-off, right? We're gathering strength. I think we have a great shot at going for it and this downtrend finally breaking. And then we start to climb back to range lows, right? Where we want to see reclaim. So this local price action looks really promising. It looks really promising here, guys. So things look good, and I think this is just the start, right? You know, everyone's excited and happy right now, but I think this is a start to probably a couple weeks of bullish price action on Bitcoin and ETH and alt across the board.
It looks good. I'm not going to rule out that we can't see lower pricing at some point, you know, maybe in April, maybe it's later this quarter. I'm not quite sure, but I think at least locally speaking, things look good to continue moving higher here over the next few days. Don't we have news coming for, like, don't we find out about ETH staking ETF tomorrow?
And it's Liberation Day,
Perfect.
as Trump is calling it.
Perfect. ETH staking on the ETF.
And you still don't know what he's going to liberate us from.
No, we're all waiting, even him.
He's going to be liberating bears from their net worth.
Ooh. I like that.
They're gonna own
I'm just
nothing.
going to continue to say, like, it makes sense to play a counter trend rally here. And if you're still just trying to hammer the ask with things basically in a downtrend for 4 months, I think you're focused on the wrong direction, at least in the near term. Obviously, I have my thoughts about how the rest of the year can potentially look, but at least in like April or Q1 or Q1, what am I saying? Q2, the beginning of it, it makes sense that we see some big pumps on assets that have objectively gotten completely crushed in Q1.
You realize how fast the time is going by when you are when you are misspelling the quarters.
I can't believe it's already the second quarter of the year. It's
I know.
kind of surreal, to be honest.
And
The
we are
last
at
month in particular has really flown by.
The days are long, but the higher time frame is short. just like having a baby. Sometimes the days feel so long, but like you look back and it's like your kid is like he's growing. It's crazy. It's time. Yeah, it's weird.
Dude, my kid is huge now. It's insane.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
Me too, man.
I bet
Big
you guys
months.
have like different benchmarks for time now that you have kids. Am I right to say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, it's like every month. Especially he's not even. My son's not a year old yet, so it's like every month is like a milestone. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, man. It's like my kid's like talking a little bit now. It's crazy. He's like a
Well,
little person.
Let's hope that
I'm
East
like,
is
I
above
can't
10K when they grow up, guys.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I can't believe that ETH is still down so fucking bad, man. Oh,
So
Yeah,
you just
I-
10K when they grow up.
I think I just correct Tommy.
ETH is such a piece of shit, man. It's crazy.
Yes,
Can't
it is.
believe
But I again, when we're talking about things being like so beaten down, ETH is way more beaten down than Bitcoin. So if you're getting a bounce from here, in theory, at least initially, ETH should outperform Bitcoin. I'm not going to make any like high time frame statements on ETH BTC because that's proven to be a very difficult task this cycle, as we joke about all the time now. But you know, at the very least, off the lows here, the asset that's more beaten down requires a larger percentage gain to return back to previous levels than something like BTC. So for those reasons, I've liked alt BTC for the last few weeks. Really, it's kind of taken maybe a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I think the end result is going to be the same.
Have you seen the monthly candle on East BTC?
Afraid to look at it. I basically don't even chart BTC anymore.
I love it how literally everyone who tried to call the bottom on the chart just got it wrong. Like literally everyone.
even the ones that were bearish got it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really not like that bearish on ETH BTC from this level. But I don't think like high time frame outperformance is necessarily imminent. It's probably going to range for, you have to imagine, like 6 to 8 months at least before you actually begin an uptrend on it. Just long enough for me to win my bet with Max. That's all I need.
That's a lot. We got a lot of time left, Tommy.
We do. 6
Wow.
months is a long time in markets.
That's a long
Tommy
time.
is single-handedly holding a multi-billion asset just to win a lunch against Max. Confirmed.
You wouldn't get it.
You didn't get it.
If you knew what the stakes tasted
It's
like,
about
you would
sending
get
a
it.
message. I love when Louis is talking to a muted mic.
Oh my god! I'm like, these guys are just talking over me right now. But
So we were just ignoring you.
You're like, why are they
Yeah.
so rude? They won't listen
in
to
any
me.
such cases, it's all right. I talk too much, anyways. But we bounced back from monthly candles such as this, like look at those 3 bearish monthly candles, and then boom, right? So again here, right? Put a bottom in again here, So we'll see, right? But it's been very difficult to call bottom on this chart, but it's due for a bounce, man. Just like ETH is and altcoins. Where it comes from, who knows? I'm still in the camp that it comes from this general area. Whether it's now or we have to come a little lower. But I'm in the camp that it's in this general area. Whenever that comes.
I still think the ESBTC outperformance begins above 4K. I still think that is the case. I'm not sure if it's going to be a V shape or if like the ETH USD price likely bottom really soon. And then that's sort of like a rounded bottom on ETH BTC, but then really begins to go up the moment we break 4K. I think that is probably the likeliest. If you zoom out again, Louis, it's like if we look at the left side of the chart, we do not really have any support there. It's more like just liquidation levels, but all used. So I'm not sure if it's, again, I would tend to think that the best case is a absorption here, going sideways and stop the bleeding. Not sure if we get a V shape from here.
That's the most like orderly sell-off I've ever seen over a multi-year period. I feel like I can't really
know.
think of a chart that is very similar to that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But I
It's
mean,
the banker bleed, man.
I can't help but, I mean, like Jack, I totally agree, right? That we probably need time to like range and stuff down here. But at least initially, right, like off like a move that's so like parabola to the downside, like I can't imagine not seeing at least one big move after like a multi-year kind of curved parabola
Louis,
like this.
I will help you with that. Go on Tesla's BTC chart.
Tesla's
Okay,
BTC
we're
chart?
not comparing this to Tezos.
Literally
Oh,
back
Tesla.
then, Tezos was the ETH killer
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
They sponsored Manchester United, didn't
And
they?
they sponsor Manchester United till this day, by the way.
This just shows you how much I really don't think people still grasp. Like, even though we have been, I feel like we're maybe just so confined within our space that we don't realize how ridiculous some of these coins valuations still are. I think like for a while, Luna was still they might still be sponsoring the Nationals. Tezos is sponsoring Manchester United. Somebody is sponsoring Juventus right now. I want to say. It's just like kind of crazy how much money is still in crypto relative to kind of like people's view on normal finances. And there was like a tweet I saw in particular that made me think about this yesterday. It was if you guys know who Anteater is, which shout out to him. He crushed Q1 from a P&L standpoint. He was showing that on Bybit he made like 2 billion. What am I saying? He's not Bill Gates. He made 2 million in Q1, which is obviously one hell of a return. And then the tweet right above it is like some normal person like euphoric that they had $8,000 combined in their checking and savings account. So it's like we are almost like so insulated in our own world that we don't realize just how much money is still sloshing around in our asset class.
Yeah,
It's the future.
It's true.
The people becoming so desensitized to money is a very it's a very crypto specific thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like that same effect that people who when credit card companies were doing all that like predatory marketing at universities, and they would like set up booths on college campuses and be like, oh, like, hello, struggling college student, would you like a $10,000 credit card and like no interest for a year? And then they all do it, and they're all in like crippling debt because they're kids and they can't pay it back and they don't know how it works, and it like destroys like the first part of their lives. It's this phenomenon where like you're swiping a credit card and like you don't feel like it's real money. With crypto, it is most certainly like that as well, where a lot of these guys, I mean, it's kind of a meme, but it's like, is 20 million enough to retire?
Oh my
Like,
god.
that's only a crypto thing, man. It's only a crypto thing.
It is, and I feel like you only see that rhetoric about X amount of money isn't a lot of money, or like, well, money is no longer viewed as that important. Like status and power are way more important. You only see that end at like a bear market low, truthfully, because people lose all their bull market gains and they stop feeling invincible.
And then they go, oh wait, that was super real money, and that was a lot of money. Oh,
Indeed.
but it is
And-
funny, right?
And guess
It is
what?
funny.
People are doing that right now.
Yeah. At the generational low. Never below 1900 again. Haha. But for real, if Louis' little squiggle plays out there, it's going to start looking real nice. Like it can go from looking really, really bad to really bullish in like one weekly candle, like one meat stick back into that little trend line right there above the range low. You're going to see a lot of like high time frame PO3 charts start popping up on X really quickly.
What level do you guys think people are going to start calling for reclaims? I want to sell into that.
I mean, I feel like the level to de-risk, I feel like ETH could rally to 3K, truthfully.
I think it can too.
Wait, from here?
From
mean,
this
maybe
level
not
to
in
3K?
like one go, but
Like,
I think this quarter for sure. Yeah.
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm not saying like
you get back
tomorrow.
inside this range, if you get back inside this range and you establish yourself back inside the range, mid-range is your obvious level, right? You know, like, and this was
Yeah.
a deviation. We're back inside, and you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still pretty convinced. You know, looking at the weekly chart, you know, this is likely going to be your false breakdown, your deviation. And you know what? This kind of reminds me of is XRP. You know, just let me pull this up.
Here we go
Slightly
again.
different. Not this one.
A lot of
Yeah, this
people
one.
trying to short this thing right now. I'll tell you, I've seen
Yeah.
some pretty crazy bearish charts on it. I'm not going to give my opinion on it because it doesn't really matter. I kind of agree with what you guys were saying yesterday. So if you guys want to hear it, go watch yesterday's episode. But it's starting to feel a little crowded. I'm not going to lie. That negative, you know, oh, like it has to collapse. Like, you know, I don't.
It's cool. Yeah, it's
there
cool.
is
Yeah.
a greater possibility, in my opinion, that XRP flips ETH this quarter than that it breaks down from this level before higher prices.
But is that a bullish XRP or bearish ETH thing, Tommy? Because it could go either way.
Kind of both. I'll let you determine how you want to interpret that, but no, I actually do think that XRP can flip ETH, as ridiculous as it sounds.
I don't think that sounds ridiculous at all. I'd actually be at this point a little surprised if it didn't happen. I actually completely agree with you. I don't see why it wouldn't. And by the way, no one wants to talk about this, but XRP flipped Bitcoin at one point. That was a long time ago. I'm not going to say it'll do it again. I don't think it will ever, but it did, right? Flippings happen all the time. Pork flipped Pepe in 2023, right? For like a day.
Do you know what happened when that, like, do you know what kind of transpired once XRP started flipping Bitcoin? Do you know what kind of played out there?
I assume there was salt all over, but I don't know.
It was Coin Market Cap literally pulled all the data from the South Korean market because XRP was super, you know, highly traded in South Korea. So once XRP started flipping Bitcoin, and Coin Market Cap was literally like the only like crypto, one of the only crypto like trackers at the time in 2018, Coin Market Cap literally pulled the data from South Korea off of the website, and it kind of took away XRP's flipping of Bitcoin, and that's literally what topped XRP. So wonder what made them do that, right?
Study up bit pumps.
Interesting. Very interesting. And, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire, you know? So, you know, but, you know, back to what I was talking about, like, I think ETH is here, right? You know, multi-year price pinch, right? Multi-year price pinch, rising demand, falling supply, coming into the apex. And you call this a false move, where when XRP was here, this looked like it was going to break down, right? And this was going to not play out. But ultimately, you lost the level, but reclaimed back inside, and then you get the expansion the other way. And that's kind of what the ETH weekly chart reminds me of right now. I feel like we're in this area. You know, so we'll see. But this is kind of what it reminds me of. Like going back to the weekly chart now, and we can look at it. You know, multi-year price pinch, right? Multi-year price pinch. This goes back to 2021. We're in 2025. So this is now 4 years of this kind of formation going on. This ETH looks like it's going to roll, right? But I'm in the camp. This is likely a false breakdown. You get back inside, you reclaim this level, and you start to see the expansion the other way. And this was ultimately just one big trap. So
That would be epic.
yeah.
That would be epic. I mean, dude, it's gonna look really good if that happens. That's the thing. Like, it's gonna start looking really, really good. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I really think 3K is on the menu this quarter. Like earlier this quarter. And I think a lot of your altcoins are gonna rip back really hard. Like you're gonna see some really solid projects, like not the cancerous ones, okay? Not the ones that needed to get taken out. The real solid projects. They'll rip like 3, 4, 500%, and they'll still be down from like their all-time highs. But man, they'll start looking really good, you know?
Yeah.
Well, there you
2K is
go.
your first.
We've talked before. I mean, like there are going to be some new alts as well that are outperforming. At the least some fresh charts. It's funny, like one coin just kind of continues to be this risk on barometer for the market. And I think it's so ridiculous. I hate having to but it's like every time fart coin is just randomly up 15 to 20% on the day, majors are usually not far behind.
It has been incredible signal, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what else hasn't been terrible signal either? It's been really down bad, but whenever Trump is up a little bit and the rest of the market's red, I've noticed the next day is always like a mean reversion day for majors. I don't have that much price history on it, but the other day I noticed that Trump was like up 1%. I think it was yesterday. Trump was like up a little bit at one point in the day, and the rest of the market was just kind of getting clobbered. I don't know. We'll see. I'm like really yearning for Trump to do something and to be some signal, and like we'll see if it happens, right? I just
I've
can't
noticed-
accept that like this thing is going to be down only forever, man.
Yeah.
That's difficult for me to wrap my head around that would be the case.
Guys, one thing I wanted to touch upon, not sure if you have seen it, ACT. Maybe Tommy,
I
this is
have,
more
yeah.
for you. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say anything negative about Binance, but like, they don't
Can you
exactly
pull,
seem like
Louis?
Is it crime?
Binance FUD might return to
D.
the menu later this year.
Whoa.
What the
Well,
heck?
I saw someone tweet this morning where it was like there's like multiple charts on Binance that look like this.
Looks like Luna.
With the same like massive drop. There's like 4 or 5. It was like banana, I think, was another one.
It's like a rug pull.
Today marked safe from Binance rug pulls.
No, maybe not this one. It was a different one. But yeah, there was like 4 or 5 tokens that did this morning. So
5 tokens. Wow.
And they were all like Binance listings or something.
yeah. So maybe they're
Dude,
pulling the
that's
liquidity to pump other stuff. Who knows? And then Binance put out the tweet yesterday, like, don't believe everything you see on Twitter tomorrow.
What about everything that we see on the charts?
Yeah.
Don't believe
might
what
have
you
been-
see on the chart. It's misleading you.
Don't believe
It's
everything
at
you see.
2K.
I'm pretty sure what probably happened was like a Wintermute wallet got hacked or something, because these were all coins that they were market making.
So the Wintermute FUD is real this time.
Yeah.
For the first time ever.
It's funny because they just spent like $1 million to redesign their logo and made it the exact same.
Yeah, that's crazy. Dude, I love all the Wintermute like conspiracies. They're like tier 1 exchanges are sending assets to like Wintermute wallets to dump on you. It's like, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. You've not one clue how market making works, and they're certainly not doing that.
I think Wintermute is just kind of like a product of the game. I can't hate them. They're just like so. What's that quote in The Big Short? He's like so.
He's so transparent in his own self-interest. I almost respect it, or something.
Exactly. Like that's how I view Wintermute.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, it's always nice to hate on someone, right? Like use them as your scapegoat for your own mistakes. So let's do it on Binance and Wintermute. Like it's not my fault I lost 90% in a meme coin. It's Binance's fault and Wintermute's fault.
Same people who thought or who were calling for Gary Gensler to resign like 6 months ago. Same crowd. You want your cake, eat it too. Or what? Wait, what's the saying? You can't have your cake and eat it too. That's basically meme coin trencher sentiment.
Mhm. I
Yeah,
think
so this is altcoin market cap.
What? No, Louis, you must be bearish. How could you still be bullish after all of this in Q1? No. You better take that back, Louis. It's time to be bearish.
Yeah. And this came up yesterday. And it's like people are saying, yeah, we had our bull run already, right? We had our crypto, we had our alt season, like the bull run happened. Didn't you see? Didn't you see Pepe go to 12 billion? Didn't you see go to like 1 billion? And my argument to that is great. A handful of tokens went to a couple billion, right? Here and there, right? But altcoin market cap, this is the chart, everything in crypto, not including Bitcoin and ETH. So pretty much all the other altcoins, right? Altcoins market cap as a whole is sitting at levels we've seen in 2021, 2022, right? So the market cap of altcoins as a whole has not expanded from 2021 yet, right? So my argument is if you think we had alt season and you think the cycle's over, then inherently you're saying that you believe that no more liquidity than we saw in 2021 is going to come into the crypto market, right? And if you believe that, fine. Yeah, sure. But for me, like what we're seeing being lined up, with the legacy markets, with all the altcoin ETFs, with all the, positive regulation, the friendly regulation for the crypto market to thrive. If anything, it's going to be the exact opposite. We're going to see more liquidity that's ever been able to enter crypto begin to enter crypto, right? And we haven't even made new highs yet. So if you think we had our alt season, right, then you believe that we're not going to see any more money than we saw come into the market in 2021, 4 years later, right? So if you believe that, just understand what you're saying. What you're saying is you don't think we're not going to see more money come into crypto than we saw last cycle, with the entire kind of ecosystem gearing up for legacy markets to come in and start to sit at the table.
You know what I think is funny, Louis? I'm sorry to cut you up, but you know what I think is funny that I keep seeing is like people associate a correction with a recession kicking in.
Yeah.
Like they go, oh, price is down, recession is kicking in. And it's like, that's actually not how it works. Like it's possible we're just in like a technical correction and we're actually not about to enter like a multi-year recession. But every time we pull back, they're like, oh, like finally the yield curve is uninverting. And like, ooh, initial claims is up from 220 to 225K, which is literally nothing. They're just dying for like a multi-year recession. It's crazy. And I'm just seeing so many recession calls right now just because like we're in a really nasty technical correction for equities and I guess crypto. But
yeah, I mean, like this looks like a market that's in a high time frame uptrend that's getting ready to head into price discovery and head into expansion of the asset class, right? Like this is just beautiful uptrend off the lows from 2021, came into a bear market, came off the lows, put our first leg in, consolidated, boom, came, put another leg in, retested the 2021 all-time high, rejected on the first attempt. Not so crazy, right? Nothing out of the ordinary, but coming back into support, regathering strength, not breaking down, this looks to me like this is getting ready to, head into price discovery. And this is a real crypto bull market, right? Altcoin market cap and expansion, more liquidity than we've seen in the previous 4 years, getting outsized by new liquidity entering the market, which is likely going to be legacy and a whole other slew of investors that have way more money than anyone else in the world. And now they're just getting their opportunity to enter this market. So this to me is a real bull market, right? Trading up in here. Whether we come all the way here or not, I don't know, right? But anywhere in price discovery above the 2021 all-time high, that's your real crypto bull market.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of arguments to be made that like we're actually much earlier in the cycle, as opposed to like later in the cycle. And that was something that I was hoping Tommy was super wrong about, was that we were like, Max Payne is that you want to get rich quick and you're stuck here for years. And I'm definitely bummed out that that ended up being the case, because I wanted to get rich quickly. But it does make a lot of sense, right? It does make a lot of sense that, I mean, for one, I don't really agree that we're not going to get like a true alt season, meaning like Bitcoin and price discovery with others' dominance moving up. Maybe we get an ETH BTC rally for like a quarter, even if it's just like a dead cat bounce. I'm sure at some point we'll get a squeeze. I don't know what it will look like, but either way, Bitcoin dominance down, right? However that may look, however long it may last. I think at some point we will get a nice alt season, right? Like a conventionally defined alt season. So I think the assumption is like, look, we're still in QT right now. A cycle doesn't end as you transition out of QT. A cycle begins when you transition out of QT. Like we're really probably heading into like a prolonged cycle where every bit of price action we've seen since 2023, like the bottom, right, has come during QT, has come during tight financial conditions. We're heading into looser conditions. It would make sense that maybe we're halfway through the cycle. We've had a Bitcoin dominated rally. We're about to head into easier, softer monetary policy that will be more beneficial for altcoins and small caps like, the Russell. And we might actually be on like hole 8 or 9 in golf terms, like halfway done with our cycle, rather than like hole 17, 18 and like this cycle sucked, no alt season. Typically cycles don't end when we're heading into softer, easier monetary conditions, unless it's like emergency cuts because we're heading into a recession, which we're not getting, right? At least not right now. We don't have the data to support that. So I don't know. I mean, it would make sense. Like, I like that you were saying, Louis, like, we haven't really had like a cycle yet, like a true cycle. We haven't even really seen price discovery across the board yet. Nothing like we've seen in the past. Not even close.
Do you remember, unfortunately, what I was saying about that this cycle will be about macro bull one with semi-bears in between?
Yeah, I hate that you were right about that too. It's terrible.
Look at this chart.
You and Tommy really rooting things for me, but
that I mean, there is that old saying, right? Like, come on, Jackies, stop telling people the truth, man. They just don't want to hear it. Like, why would you bother with it?
all you need to tell people, Jack, is you're gonna get rich. Max long everything, straight to the moon. That's what they want to hear.
Yeah, and then blame you.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a difficult cycle, though. I mean, these
Louis,
corrections have been very prolonged and difficult to navigate.
Zoom in on the current cycle from the lows on this chart. Well, since the low, you can see 3 semi-bear markets, but you can clearly see this chart is uptrending. And I think we are heading towards the end of our third semi-bear market.
Yeah.
And that's something that's like, if you were to measure the average time of a pullback this cycle versus previous ones, these corrections have been so much longer than what a normal correction has been in previous bull markets. That's the difficult part of it, is like we're actually seeing, yes, there's price-based capitulation, but the time-based capitulation, because people can deal with like the whipsaw in crypto, the up, the down, the volatility. Most people are okay with that. It's how long they've had to wait, which I think is driving people to this like really dark place mentally. Look how long those pullbacks are, man.
Yeah, almost a year.
Tedious.
I
Each
think you
one.
want to. I think you want to take the left one from the high. Yeah, yeah.
This one?
The one in 2023. You want to take it from the high, the timing, just to be
Oh, okay.
precise with the. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Go for it. Go.
No, just do it on the middle one too, and then yeah, I think all are something in between, like 100. Maybe for the breakout. Yeah, it's kind of hard to like tell when exactly we left it, but
yeah, 180 days, 200 days, on average. But I mean, as we start to climb and this chart continues to, enter parabola, right? And start go more vertical, I believe that these should start to become shorter, right? Until you finally get your blow off. But I mean, I don't know if that's going to, but
Eric Trump was just on Fox Business and was quoted saying, Bitcoin is one of the greatest stores of value and a hedge against real estate.
Wow.
Well, last time he said that, it was not a good thing for
I know, that's why I'm saying
it.
I levered long on ETH at 2,700 because Eric Trump told me it was a good buy. I lost everything.
Well, I'm just glad he didn't say, "Have you ever said thank you?"
Did you even say thank you one time? So funny.
Yeah.
Well, I can imagine when this market pumps, people will be like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you."
Here's the thing: is like he's gonna end up being right. Like ETH at 2,700 over the next year is probably not a bad buy. I would hope. I mean, if it is, then we're cooked. But he might have been a month and a half too early.
Well, put it this way: if you were to say that, and then ETH actually absolutely ripped from there, that looks super sketchy. But he said that ETH decided to drop another $600-700, and then if it goes after that, he's not really on the hook for anything.
Yeah, that's true.
If you think about it that way. But I mean, yeah, like this is total crypto market cap. This looks to me, high time frame, cancel out a lot of the noise. It looks like we're pretty much trying to flip our 2021 highs into support. Right? Like, are you longing this short chart? Are you longing this chart, or are you shorting this? Right? I guess you could say, oh, deviation, back inside, but not really. Right? Not really. If we hold here and start to push, this is just a break of the 2021 all-time high for the market cap. We pulled back, and then we start the real climb and start to go more vertical. Right,
Louis, I got a question for you. Not that this matters too much, because I think price targets are more just for fun. But do you have any like fib levels that you're expecting or looking out for on total? Like what are your realistic expectations? We'll just give it like a window. What do you think's possible this year?
I think 8 to 10 trillion. Oh, this year?
Yeah, okay. Let's just say with next fiscal year from now through next
8 to 10 trillion.
Okay.
So we're sitting at almost 3 right now. So 8 to 10, somewhere in here. I think this is your sell it all zone, at least for a little bit.
That'd be sweet. It'd be fun.
What's the total market cap for gold right now? Like
21 trillion.
21.
Right? So
did it go up?
And this is gold's been going up.
Oh yeah.
It was at.
Dude, I forgot how crazy gold's been going. Oh my goodness.
It was at like 6-7 trillion like a couple years ago.
In my head, I thought it was like 10 trillion. I like forgot how hard gold's been ripping.
Peter
Wow,
Schiff
okay.
was right.
So now Bitcoin needs to go to 1.1 million to reach parity with gold. We got a lot more work to do.
Yeah. So, saying the asset class as a whole can't get to, 7 to 12 trillion when gold's sitting at 20 something trillion, it's not super outlandish for an asset class as a whole, not one asset. This is like the entire crypto asset class. So
Caspa to 12 trillion. I'll tell you, the only thing, there's two bearish things about Caspa. One, Mara got involved in the mining and they used it clearly to subsidize their business to some degree because it was more profitable than Bitcoin mining. And they just started just farming it, right? Just absolutely farming it. And the second is when the Caspa community started saying Bitcoin was a test net for Caspa. Those are the two
Obvious
really
sell
bearish things.
signal I can think of for an altcoin is
Yeah,
rhetoric.
that was like, ooh, I don't know, guys. I mean, I'm all for like a new L1 proof of work where you can shit coin on and like it's great tech. But to say that, oof, I don't know.
I would
It's like
only
when someone
wish
says, "Oh, this is the next Pepe." It's like, no, it's not. It's just a meme coin. It might do well. It's not the next Pepe. Know your place, you know?
I would only wish that the reverse would happen for ETH when people started delete .ETH from their nicknames and it would start to go up, but instead it continued in that same direction.
It's about to happen to all the souls.
Soul. Imagine being a soul maxi.
New bearish Tommy propaganda just dropped. Let's go.
Yeah, I am now gonna FUD Soul like I FUD'd ETH.
Oh, I'm just so happy you're off the ETH FUD train, man. It's
well.
Hang on. Just let me
Anakin
have this.
meme.
Just let me have it. It's fine.
It's like that Anakin meme
Yeah.
where he's talking with Padme.
Yeah. It's like, which means you're done fudding ETH, right? Right?
I don't like sand.
I'll be nicer to ETH.
Okay.
That's my compromise for now.
I'll take it. I'll take what I can get.
I do have some bags on ETH though, as a few people in the comments have pointed out.
Dude, that thing. Okay, I have this theory with base fart coin. Okay. So I was buying it like in the very beginning of the year. It's been the only thing in my portfolio that's been up. It's been such a blessing, right? There's this one wallet, and it's not the normal Coinbase insider wallet or whatever, okay? But there's been this one wallet that has shoved $750,000 into this chart. And I don't know who it is.
It was
Nobody involved in it knows who it is. But I found some other wallets of theirs, and they own a bunch of random base tickers, right? Just like a ton of random base shit coins. I have this theory that it's like a Coinbase person shoving this thing for a listing pump because they're getting, I mean, talk about the Coinbase nepotism with this, like with base stuff right now. They are listing things on base that if they were on ETH or Sol, they wouldn't touch, right? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just like that's what they're doing right now, right? So
that's
it's like
their business model.
It's whoever is shoving this thing, right? It certainly feels like it's intentional, right? So I don't know. I have this theory. They bought over 3% of the supply, shoving it, right? The thing's been up only, and everything has been down. It feels like they're buying this thing for a listing pump, personally. So I don't know. Just a thought, because it's a lot of money.
I totally agree with you, Max. Like this, it was very clearly someone was T-wopping in down here with size, and I even like I even
$50,000.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and I was like, I even said a couple times, I was like, this chart, like the way it's coming off the lows, it looks like somebody knows something, It looks like somebody knows something or is preparing for something. Because you like this thing just wouldn't break down every time. Like, you know, you started to get a pullback. This thing was just continuing to get T-WAPed until finally we're starting to break away here. But I would agree. You know, this looks like somebody knows something, and hopefully, you know, that it is. But I mean, it doesn't even need it. You know, but it would be great to have that listing. But
because it's not listed on any exchanges, which is like a beautiful thing too. It's just all organic, like on chain. Imagine the only exchange he gets listed on is just Coinbase. That'd be so epic. Oh, it'd be so cool. None of the like lower tier exchanges, just like on chain, Coinbase insiders accumulate, list it. Oh man, that'd be so fun. Be so cool to see.
as long as they let it run.
It's just when
You
it's
don't-
not like something is going on with it. That's what I mean. Is like,
No, I agree.
because I bought it just as like a for fun play, and like, you know, a friend of mine is super involved in it. Friend of ours, you know, Donnie's super into it. So I'm like, yeah, I'll ride. Like, let's go. But something right there, Louis, is going on, and it feels like some nepotism. I'll tell you.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. I was saying the same exact thing. Very strong.
I mean, it's like my whole portfolio's down like 80%, and then this one part of it's like up 2x, you know, just like during horrible conditions.
It's definitely kept me alive as well. It's definitely kept me alive. The fart, the based fart has kept me in the game.
Yeah, I mean, someone doesn't buy 750K this thing for no reason, you know, like something's up here, you know. And like if you see like the replies on some of their posts and stuff, there's like all these like base guys that are like base devs, and like they have mutuals with like Coinbase. I'm like, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah,
Somebody's doing something.
Something's going on.
I don't know. Maybe I'm in my own head about it, but I'm like, when something is not behaving like it normally would, and there's kind of these like little breadcrumbs, you know. It's interesting.
Yep.
Wait, today's my 1-year anniversary of when I bought Andy. I just realized that. I bought it April 1st last year. Someone said, Max, did you create Andy, or were you part of starting it? No, absolutely not. I just found it on Deck Screener one night. Actually, 1 year ago from today, which is super funny. 1-year anniversary from when I bought Fee FIFO Fandy.
I mean, if you want to take a shot on Andy, this is where you do it. Not financial advice, but
I've been buying down here.
So have I. Me and Max were texting last night. It's like the 300.
Louis like, is that you down there? And I said, they expect one of us in the wreckage, brother.
Yeah. I was like, I was watching Andy last night. I was like, is that you down there, Max?
Yeah.
I mean, super locally, this thing looks really good.
I mean, it's like, how could I expect someone else to bid my bags if I'm not going to bid my bags? I'll happily bid my bags.
Exactly.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, we got our initial bounce, the painful grind, the rollover. This is your second scary drop where everyone gets freaked out and way more bearish than they were here. Boom, sweep the low. No dice, not going lower. And then you got a nice little local double bottom on your hands, right? I think this is a great setup.
Clear and validation.
I was buying it. I was buying this one. I guess Max was buying this one. So teamwork.
Yeah, if you have a BB membership, like it's not a signals thing, you know, but it's like I share what I'm doing. You know, like I've been telling everyone my plans, like, hey, I'm buying here. Hey, this is the level I'm looking at, that kind of stuff. So yeah. Ooh. Oh.
There are a lot of shorts coming in on Bitcoin here.
Are they going to get squeezed, Tommy?
Sure would be a shame.
All right.
I love a bullish Tommy, even if it's only for a short period of time.
Nothing better than like when Tommy and Jackus both get bullish and then both get like, start flipping at the same time, and then the charts start looking good. I'm like, oh baby, someone's about to lose all their money on a short right now.
Yeah, And Wolf, I think, looks really good. Bought some Wolf yesterday. I'm just trying to swing it up to here, and see what happens. I think this is very easily doable levels, right? Like, look at last time when we came from off these lows. Boom, right? Reaccumulated. Another leg, So, with the Pepe strength over the last month or two, like, if you missed Pepe, you got Andy and Wolf sitting at the lows at major support. Like, no brainer. No brainer, in my opinion.
Yeah. So Tommy, how do you know that there's shorts coming in? Like, is funding flipping negative or something? Like, I'm sure OI ramped up, but like, how do you know it's shorts?
Increasing. Speaking with my order flow quant, or one of my 2 order flow quants, lots of net shorts coming in here, almost like parabolically, while net longs are pretty flat.
Squeeze them.
And I also think you have finally these correlations for equity markets beginning to turn positive. Like an extended rally here for tech makes sense to me. Like a few weeks. I'm just gonna continue to stick by what I've been saying on X and what I been saying on the Discord, like exit scam April. Maybe it materializes to more than that, but like tactically, I think it makes sense to be a bull here.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why they're trying to pile in shorts here, because you see what happens when you get back above 85 too, right? If you get rejected, you're kind of stuck in this area, right? But you get above it, you start to see big reactions, right? You get above it, big reaction. You get above it, big reaction, right? So I guess that kind of makes sense that they're trying to stuff it here. Maybe we have a little more time in here, but time is running out, I think, for the Bears. Time is running out. They're on borrowed time, in my opinion.
Is Bitcoin not trading on Coinbase right now? Did they do that thing where their Oracle freezes up? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, why is Bitcoin price at the exact same level for about 15 minutes?
Oh yeah.
This is my favorite. No crying in the casino.
Lots of crying in the casino lately.
Well, we'll see what happens. I like the PA today. How do stocks look? How does like SPX look? You looked at it yet?
Well, yeah, I've been watching. I think tomorrow will end up being like a buy the news, maybe some local volatility, but I've got like 5,900 on the S&P, on Qs probably like 505 to 510. Dow Jones I'd like to see back into like maybe even 44,000. I think all of these things are kind of confluent with my view on Bitcoin right now, that it makes sense for us to trade higher, right? Because I've been pointing out, like, structurally, all of these equity indices look very similar to Bitcoin. Clearly, that's kind of like the main correlation that's driving us at the moment. And so for that, like, I think for that reason, it makes sense to be bullish on altcoins, to be bullish on Bitcoin. After that, I'm much less certain. We'll see what happens with the macro. It's very path dependent, as I've continued to say, but I think, in the near term, those are levels that have a kind of an obvious target on their back for me.
Yields are nuking.
Ooh.
That's good. Very, very good.
There was like that data glitch last night, right?
Yeah, it was the 3-month yield, like spiked up a crazy amount. I was pretty certain it was a glitch because there was no news, and I follow a bunch of macro boys, and no one said anything, and I was like, all right, they'd be freaking out about somebody getting blown up if it was real. But thankfully, it was a glitch. It seems like.
Yeah. TradingView does that a lot. I still remember if we go to Binance US on BTC, there's a magical price point, magical wick.
On Binance?
Binance US.
Oh my God. I'm not gonna think that. I know what you're talking about.
130K or something. What was it?
Was it? It was like 8K, right?
Well, that's the downside, but I remember there was one to like 150K or something.
Yeah.
Fill them both.
No, don't fill them both.
I think it was the Binance. Yeah, the Binance USDT chart on Binance US. And the wick goes to 138K. And we are filling it, by the way, which is amazing. Louis? Oh no.
He's out. He's gone.
Louis Tuesday.
Liquidated himself.
Liquidated himself. The best way to force yourself out of the market is to just liquidate yourself. If you can't physically escape the market, just liquidate yourself, and that's it. That's the way to leave the casino.
Oh, would you look at that, Max?
Funding rate OI weighted. Why is it red, Tommy? What does that mean?
The shorts are pouring in, man. We'll see how it materializes, right? Because I will say, at least over the last year, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're guaranteed to squeeze, but we do have fuel now put in the market. So I guess we'll just have to see. I think a lot of it's going to come down to equity market correlations. Tomorrow's a big day, but I'm going to stick to my guns, man. I think it makes sense that we see a rally across the board in April. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed what you heard on today's show, we do have a few things to offer you, starting with what you see on the screen, the BB terminal. If you are interested in getting this open interest data, this lower time frame data, will we punish the shorts? Find out next time on Market Check. But you can keep obviously tracking this and following it throughout the day if you get BB terminal, which is your go-to tool for the cycle, whether or not you are an active trader, whether or not you are a long-term investor. And even soon we'll have a tool for our on-chain trenchers, our degens, our meme coiners, and everything in between. So make sure to follow the continued development of the BB terminal, guys. It's going to be the best tool that you see for pretty much every sort of market participant by the end of this cycle. Of course, we also were nice enough to package this together with the BB Discord, which you can come join. Like I said, both at discounted rates if you purchase them together. But through the Discord, you get 4 to 5 hours of calls every single day. You get access to our thoughts on the market in real time, and of course, even our positions. But yeah, if you are also looking to hone your educational base or even reach trading level mastery, we also have the BB Academy, where you can come learn from the entire team how we analyze markets and ultimately how we trade them. Last but certainly not least, we have BB Wealth Management, guys. I made this joke a few times, but there are so many people who I see say all the time, I can't wait to get this pump. I can't wait to exit crypto forever. I mean, I'm thinking about kind of that copy pasta, right? What is it? I've sold everything. I'm completely out of the cryptocurrency market. Life has dreams. Each is wonderful. Well, if any of that applies to you, maybe none of it does. If you're interested in having the team potentially manage capital for you, we have an SEC registered hedge fund. Like I said, BB Wealth Management, and we manage digital assets in a way that looks to capture their asymmetric history for upside returns while balancing the downside risk posed in any financial market. But if anything that I said over the last 90 seconds has resonated with you, check out the description below. Every product that I just mentioned is linked there. But yeah, we hope that you guys enjoyed Market Check today. pretty nice start to the quarter, already getting some volatility. We'll see how it continues to materialize. Like I said, tomorrow is, could be, I guess, pretty volatile on a lower time frame. I guess we'll just have to see. But I guess probably stay off the aggressive leverage maybe. I know that even though I say that, most people probably won't. If you really want to, you're going to anyway. So just be safe about it, right? But we'll be back to break down another day in markets tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 11:15 Eastern time, Monday through Friday, when the New York Stock Exchange is open. You can expect to find us live. Of course, finish up your day with Wabi and Market Talk, hosted through the Because Bitcoin X account. That is a spaces that we host Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Wabi does a great job with those shows, so make sure to tune in for him as well. But yeah, guys, we hope that you enjoyed the show. That concludes our first day of the quarter, at least from the standpoint of market check. We'll be back tomorrow, but until then, thank you again, as always, and of course, stay safe.